Firstly, are these American Bully XLs just genetically dangerous?
I don't think that they are. I think, can you breed a dog to be aggressive? Of course you can. Can you traumatize a dog such that it becomes more likely to be a bite risk? Absolutely. Is it the fact that even 50% of the dogs who look like these dogs are that way? I don't think so. Absolutely not. We cannot throw the baby out with the bathwater on this. And I totally understand that when we see a sort of pattern like we're seeing, that it's these types of dogs that are doing these kinds of horrific injuries and fatalities across the UK, that we jump straight to the breed. But actually it's rarely the breed. Even in America, they found that they did a study of over 256 dog bite related fatalities. And what they found was there were often loads of factors that contributed, and they weren't breed related. It was things to do with the owner not being present, the dog being neglected, isolation from people. And I think as well, when it comes to looking at just banning this breed, we have to really be careful here. As you say, think logistically. What are we talking about? Are we saying that we want suddenly our vets and our rescue staff, who are already under enormous mental health pressure, doing their day-to-day jobs,
to start basically killing dogs? Yeah, I'm inclined to basically agree with everything that you said, really. I mean, I very much am on that side of things. I'm just going to show, I've got a bit of footage. I would like to preface what I'm about to show by saying, first and foremost, any dog attack looks awful, right, from any breed of dog, the very nature of it. This is quite distressing, what we're going to show now, so we'll play an attack by an XL bully, right? So be aware, everybody's of a sensitive nature, that this is probably might offend you. Anyway, let's play it. So, okay, so this is the one that's caused the latest hoo-ha. It's a petrol station. It's in the Midlands. There's a bully dog there that goes after someone. This is the back end of a clip, actually. The dog had already been on the rampage for a bit. It's attacking numerous people. We can all see that. Someone runs away. The dog goes after them, and it continues. Okay, there we go. So that's one of the attacks that has caused this big hoo-ha. One thing that I will say, and I'm not going to pass comment on the owners of that particular dog, Hannah, but when you see about who likes to buy these dogs normally, you often get people who are very open about it. They say, well, I sell these things to drug dealers and to gangsters because they want to look hard. And I would make the point that maybe they wouldn't really train any dog. So that, to me, advertises the fact that it's not really necessarily the dog's fault.
Absolutely not. Exactly. And they cut their ears off. They try and make them look even worse. I think we have to be really careful here. What I see when I see these attacks is it's a human problem. It's not a breed problem. We created dogs to look like this. And they're doing, many of them are just horribly frustrated. And I appreciate that there is potential higher level of risk because of their size and their mouth size. And I don't think anybody is denying that. What I'm saying is that I really don't think banning the breed is the safest way to deal with what I've been looking at with Parliament for the last year, which is a rise in dog bites and deaths. For 30 years, this has been getting worse.
Well, that's interesting. Now, hang on a minute. That's interesting, right? That is interesting. So you've been looking at dog attacks over the last 30 years, okay?
Yeah.
And so what's the general trend been there? Where do bully XLs fit? Because, hey, look, I'll hold my hands up and go, if the reality is that the vast majority of people getting killed or attacked by dogs in this country are victims of XL bullies, then I would be more inclined to say ban the breed, OK? But what's the reality as far as you're aware?
So the first thing to say is that the data is appalling because we don't record dog bite data consistently across the country. And that has been the first thing that we've really wanted to push for, is a national dog bite data collection form that everybody uses that is the same. So that epidemiologists, when they do their research, can actually measure like for like a lot better. That's the first thing to say. The second thing to say is that in terms of breed, and this is a sticky wicket because people find it difficult to measure the difference. Is that a pit bull? Was it a XL bully? Was it an American bulldog? It depends who wrote that down. It depends who looked at the dog at the time. Over 30 years, the XL bully is number 5 in that breed list. So yes, in more recent time, we see that XL bullies are hot to trot, the dog of the day. 30 years ago, it was the Rottweiler. So we have an issue here that goes way beyond.
Were Rottweilers doing this kind of stuff? Was this because I don't think we banned them, have we, Rottweilers?
Well,
at all.
no.
No.
When the Dangerous Dog Act was originally brought in, it was Rottweilers that triggered it, and we ended up looking at and really arbitrarily putting 4 breeds of dog on the list. And since then, we as a country have gone, that's a dangerous dog. And we've got this stuck in our head now. It's really difficult for us to get away from this narrative, which is dangerous, that there are some dangerous dogs and every other dog is safe. And so this is where we find, in Alderhay Hospital in 2021, the dogs that were most likely to bite children and provide, for children to go to hospital were Shih Tzus, French Bulldogs, and Jack Russells. And we're not talking about that.
No, quite.
Broad.
Look, I think it's an absolute tragedy that anybody is, of course, attacked ever by a dog or anything, and I do think that it's fair to say that maybe some dogs are perhaps genetically slightly more predisposed to aggression, and if that dog happens to be massive as well, then that can pose a problem. However, I am firmly on the side of it's the owner's fault. Primarily over the dogs, and it's going to take some shifting for me on that one, I think. But Hannah,
we need to see owner education. That's what we want. We want.
We need to see owner education. I think as well. I think as some people, we should maybe ban more people from keeping dogs as opposed to the dog breed. I would be up for that.